the GSL Code.
Starting to the top right of the map of Cloud Kingdom in the red color, once again our MVP player. We had a very interesting game just now on Tal'Daram Altar, very back and forth, and DRG with a very aggressive strategy. Will he do it again this time? We'll find out. To the top right.
MVP DongRaeGu.
You said Tal'Daram Altar, but it was Antigua.
Oh,
got
sorry.
you.
I didn't even realize.
Everyone makes these mistakes sometimes. But here's his opponent, of course, from the team StarTale, down at the bottom. He is
StarTale Virus.
I really love to see how these changes are coming into play, and especially with all these maps, you can just see the Overlord racing towards the position to the bottom left. And it will be very interesting to see what kind of strategies Terran will choose in the future in order to put pressure on Zerg players. If they will still rely on the Hellions and just, well, maybe just build only 4 of them and well, okay, I might have to be a little bit more careful, but I can still try to take out these creep tumors and make sure that the Zerg play is not getting out of control here. DRG, on the other hand, he uses the potential of the Queens right now to defend a little bit better and gets 6 of them in the early stages of the game, and suddenly he can spread his creep like a madman. And this helped him so much through the course of the game. There was another key moment, by the way, that I just want to point out once again. When he attacked up the ramp, and he did not see these Banelings, he didn't scan ahead, which is something that he should have done, Virus that is, because he already ran into a few Banelings at the low ground when he was taking down the expansion at the top right, so he should have realized, okay, there were 2 borrowed Banelings, they only killed like 4 of my Marines, but there might be more. So a scan would have revealed the Banelings on the ramp, he would have killed them, not lost these 10 to 15 Marines, and this would have helped him very much in order to save his siege tanks that died shortly after against the Zerglings. So another moment in the game when Virus could, with a little bit of a better unit control, which is very hard to pull off in these situations, but he could have been in a position where DRG would suddenly have just fallen too far behind to recover.
You're right, man. I think he could have done so much more with that if he kept the Marines alive. That would have been a lot more minerals for Virus. He would have lost those Marines most likely eventually, but he couldn't replenish his army. As you guys saw, he had 3,000 gas, very low mineral count, and losing all those Marines is part of that. Second command center, I was going to say, second command center for Virus going up as a 1-rank expand, a second game in a row from him. I wonder what his next move is going to be. I think we're probably going to see the same siege tank build.
I actually like the build, and on this map he can use the siege tanks in some very good spots that will make sure that the roaches are not able to do too much damage. As we pointed out in the last game, if you use this build, then you will not be able to be too aggressive when it comes down to the early aggression. You can go for a timing where you attack with the siege tank and the Marines, but you will be very safe against whatever your opponent has in mind. And that's the Roach Warren once again, and this time it's a lot earlier than on the last map.
Way earlier.
What DRG did on the last map is he built the Roach Warren, but at the same time 11 additional drones, and it just droned up. This attack will not center around 12 roaches, but it will be very, very effective and do some damage. He only has 1 gas, so it's a bit of a different timing, but it's the same type of pressure. Trying to use the roaches early on because you don't expect your opponent to play too safe, you expect him to play greedy, and you try to punish him for it. Yeah,
that's exactly what this is for, and with the second the double gases being taken from Virus here, we're about to reach that point where he's going to start the factory, and I think Keldor, he's going to go for the same siege tank build. I mean, we've seen the exact same build so far. Fast third command center, double gas, going into the factory now, and as soon as this Marine finishes, I expect we'll see him lift up and make a tech lab on that barracks. The bunker is going to be up in time, of course, to hold off any aggression that comes super early, which you're going to see these 8 roaches coming out. Basically, these roaches are going to get here around the same time as the first siege tank is about to pop, but they will be out before, and there's the tech lab going down for Virus at his wall. It's all going to come down to whether or not Virus repairs on time, but he should be able to hold this, I think.
He does not have the Xel'Naga Watchtower, though. He doesn't have the vision, so at this point he does not really know what happens. The roaches will arrive, and it all comes down to the question, as you said, will he pull the SCVs early enough in order to repair? DRG is supply blocked at this point. He builds 3 Overlords. It's definitely a bit of a misstep. He could have built those drones a lot earlier, but the roaches is what in the end it comes down to. It could have been a little bit smoother with this build, but this is very strong.
Oh man, he's going to be able to target down. The SCVs are being pulled now, and it looks like they're not going to be there in time. Oh my god, 4 hit points. It's not done in time. He did not pull them in time. Now he is in so much trouble. His first siege tank is about to fall. DongRaeGu, interestingly enough, going for these depots rather than trying to kill SCVs, and it'd take real use of this advantage he has. Now trying to force his way up the ramp, kills a mule, getting a few SCVs here.
Does a very good job here. Focuses down one SCV at a time, and now maybe the tech lab. That would be huge. Yeah. That would be so huge.
And
where are the SCVs?
Oh, way too late. Way too late. Siege mode is cancelled.
Is he able to take down the tank? Oh my god, if he would actually have tried to take down the tank, he would have killed it. DRG, he was not confident enough in this position, but he did so much damage already. Kills more SCVs as we speak. He killed 9 in total. And guys, this push is not designed to kill the Terran, but he did so much damage that he might have as well succeeded already with 10 SCV kills. The tech lab that delays now once again the siege mode for the tanks. He is in an awesome position. Yeah, just look at the harvest account at this point.
It's 47 to 28, and when you do something like this, like we saw last game, things vary a little bit, because if you kill a ton of SCVs, but then your opponent still has an army size to counterattack you, you might die. You're going to have to make more units. You're not going to be able to drone up. But in this case, he killed a few SCVs, but he also killed a lot of army units. So Virus no longer has the timings he can use. He can't pressure. He can't counterattack at this point. His siege mode is now being restarted because he lost his tech lab. His stim is being started as well. He's double eBaying, getting ready to get those upgrades out, but DongRaeGu can say, I have no fear here with my third base. My third base is now up and running. Can you pressure me and attack me? The answer is no, absolutely not. Making a macro hatch too, getting double upgrades even faster than you. What are you going to do?
The thing with DongRaeGu right now is if he scouts properly and he has this Overlord still in the position where he can see everything that's coming out of Virus base, he can prepare for everything and anything. He can get so super greedy right now, get the tech, get more and more drones, get the double upgrades, get everything that he needs, because he knows fully well that it's going to be very hard for a Virus to be aggressive right now. He lost the siege mode, so everything will be delayed. A potential attack with Marines and siege tanks will be delayed by a lot. He's spreading his creep again. He's getting additional queens to do exactly this later on as well. And it's just going to be horrible for Virus to come back from this. He has the 3 command centers. This is the one thing that he has going for him. And he's also trying to get upgrades +1/+1 stim. But it's definitely not the position that he wanted to be in. Lost way too many SCVs and his tech as well. Very, very hard situation for Virus now to turn around.
Yeah, he does have the 3rd command center up though now. He's going to start bunkering here. But again, we saw this last game. We're seeing again DongRaeGu moving his creep out like a madman. He only has 5 queens this time, but the 6th one is on the way, and that one is likely just going to be for creep spread only. And this is going to be something that the Virus is going to have to deal with once again. It's something that we didn't talk about. We talked about it a little bit. We didn't talk about exactly what it means to have this much creep spread. It means that Virus has to scan over and over and over again. That's a lot of money spent. He has to delay all of his pushes, and not only does he have to delay them, but if he goes for them, DongRaeGu can see everything. That's part of why he was able to set up that great flank in the last game, because he knew exactly how to move his units, where to avoid Virus' army, even avoiding the reinforcements to keep it a complete secret, because everything was known to DongRaeGu. His creep spread past the watchtower, man.
And Virus doesn't know anything. He does have no real scouting information whatsoever. You have spine crawlers being built and small crawlers by DRG. He tries to be super safe. He knows that drop play might be a problem on this map, so the one thing that he does is secure his bases.
He skipped mutas, so you have to have spines and spores set up when you skip mutas.
He's going straight for the infestors, and he has the resources to pull this off. Finally a scan by Virus, who tries to take down these tumors. And this time he does a much better job with his medivac in order to pick up his Marines. He kind of missed
that. Yeah, he messed that up a little bit last game, but I like the idea when you don't have Hellions to, you know, scan and then kill tumors with, just take a drop and do it. Why not? You can pick up and get out. And it kind of lets you know, this is one way that Virus is scouting actually, do you have mutas or not? Because if he has mutas, those mutas are on top of that dropship in about 5 seconds. So that's the one way you can tell now that his opponent is for sure going infestors. Otherwise the drop would be long dead by now.
The drop already has been scouted, the 2nd drop as well, so this is definitely a tough spot for Virus. There are too many Overlords in position in order to spot these medivacs.
He's actually killing them though, and that's going to supply block DongRaeGu a little bit, which is still better than losing units to drops, but
he's building 7 Overlords
be careful.
Right now. Nice position
now,
with the medivac.
Great positioning here. Going to take out some of the drones, and now can potentially lift up and drop onto the low ground if he wants to, but he gets bungled, and now he's seen the infestors though. And
nice. Oh, close. Pretty close though.
Yeah, tough luck, but everything will be okay in the end for Virus. Double upgrades a little bit ahead for DongRaeGu though here, and an Ultralisk Cavern coming out with this very fast hive.
It's pretty nice to see that Virus is not missing a beat with his upgrades either. He is just making sure that he's on an even upgrade count with his opponent. And being on 3 bases himself, he has a good economy, but as we see on the supply count, he does not really have the numbers to do anything about the 4th base that DongRaeGu is building right now. So he can't take down the 4th base, and DongRaeGu has all the time in the world to get his Ultralists, to get these upgrades, Bailings. It's very, very tough to beat Virus at this point. You're down 1 game, you're playing on Cloud Kingdom against one of the best Zerg players in the world, maybe the best CVT player that we have at this point, and he is just in such a great position. The last game was close at some points, but DRG is playing this very well. Virus has a pretty good army though, and if he catches DongRaeGu off guard, scanning ahead, very important. And not able to take down the Infestors, as DRG is definitely making sure that he's not being caught off guard.
He does get 1, and every little thing does help. He's now got control of the Watchtower as well. He's going to start working this creep, but look at how difficult it is for Virus just to simply move out of his base. He does take his queen out as well, but here comes the attack, and this is going to be great for DongRaeGu. Catches all these Marines, the siege tanks now have no support, and Kaldor, if he actually rallies in here, he may be able to take out everything at the natural. We'll see if he decides to commit. Decides to pull back a little bit. The Marines do have good upgrades, but the Zergling's upgrades are far ahead. He's actually got 3-3 on the way before Virus's 2-2 is even done. And in that engagement, that actually helped him quite a bit. The 3rd base of Virus is not a planetary, but he's got a bunker up there, so it's going to be hard for DongRaeGu to just attack into that. So at this point, he's just going to wait. He may be able to get a good bungle here, and it looks like Virus overextending just a little bit, and DongRaeGu reaches out to punish him for it, taking out all of these siege tanks, and losing the siege tanks, Kaldor, is going to make it so Virus just cannot feel comfortable moving out against these Infestors.
And Virus, look at how much minerals and gas he has. He's lacking off a little bit in his macro right now. Did he just kill his own tank?
Yeah, I think so. If I'm not mistaken, there were no other Zerg units around.
I don't want to say he's falling apart here, but look at his mineral count. He really has a huge problem now with his macro. He has so much gas, so many minerals.
He has nothing queued up at his barracks right now.
He's not supply blocked. Why doesn't he build anything?
Is he actually... Is there a problem with his keyboard?
No.
What is happening? Why is he doing this?
Oh, yeah, I think...
Yeah, there's definitely a problem with his keyboard. He's not... Actually, his APM is 0.
Yeah, his APM is 0, and there's definitely a problem going on.
He can't even request a pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He was just trying... It was so confusing to me to see how much minerals he suddenly had. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would he have so many minerals? And yeah, we saw it on the picture at the bottom right, so definitely a problem with his keyboard. And this is very annoying at this point in the game.
Yeah, I don't even know, like, how, as a ref, like, when did this happen? Like, how do I make a judgment call on what to do next? Like, I mean, this is basically a game loser for him. How can the referee say, well, we're going to have a regame now? Like, that can't happen. And, like, the ref's probably just going to be like, all right, fix your equipment and let's go with 3,000 minerals in the bank. A very, very unfortunate position to be in. If you're Virus at this point, DongRaeGu has basically got the code S spot in his hands. The only way he can lose it is to drop it, and I don't think he will, man. This is a really, really tough position. I mean, you guys can't see the mini-map, but I'm looking at it right now.
You might see him in regame here.
We might.
Because, just think about it, we saw it started roughly when he had like 1,000 minerals. Actually, he started before he had 1,000 minerals. He killed his own siege tank, which was basically, in my opinion, just a result of that he had started with the problem that he had. At this point, he already had a lot of minerals, and now he has 2,700. So this was going on for quite a while. And I don't really know who's to blame if you have some technical problems with your equipment, if that's actually a problem of the computer, of the keyboard. So if the referee decides that Virus is not at fault here, then he has to go for a regame.
Yeah, I think you're right, but...
It's a pretty tough call to make.
I mean,
especially for DRG, who was already ahead. But if you just look at how many minerals and how much gas he has right now, there's just no way you're getting back from this. You don't have the production to get rid of those excess minerals.
I feel, though, this is my opinion on... this is my... Gom hasn't told me anything right now, but what I think will happen, based on what I've seen Gom do in the past, is actually have a discussion with him and give him a few different conditions of a regame, for example. And there's like things that you guys don't see, like for example, it's not like yellow carding or red carding, but they're basically, when these types of situations happen, Virus may like use his one time here. If he gets a regame here, that means if like he does make it to Code S or something and has another problem, then they're not going to give him the regame. Like there's all these conditions that are usually given to the players. It's like they're trying to make a deal basically to where everyone is happy in some regards. And I think that if Gom were left to make this choice alone, they would definitely say no regame in this scenario. But I don't know what they're going to choose. This is something that's... I mean, this is something you and I actually as casters have to deal with so often, is to try to basically discuss like with our speculations what will happen next year, because if I were actually in Gom's position, I would verify that the computer is in fact working. If it's a hardware issue, I absolutely do not give a regame, in my opinion. If it's his hardware, then what can you do? I mean, that's not DongRaeGu's problem. It's not Gom's problem either, and he was behind in the game regardless anyways.
The thing is, he was behind, but he did not lose yet. 80 drones to 65, 3 command centers, 3 bases. We have 5 for DRG. He's mining from only 3 though at this point. The harvesters that he killed in the early game were 10. He has a lot of resources. This is a tough call. It's just something that you have to live with. Either Virus or DRG will be really disappointed here, and there is just no fair decision in this situation. It's really, really tough.
Yeah, the StarTale coach was just told the verdict, it appears, and I wasn't able to find out just yet what it was, but it looks like it's still being discussed here.
Just start the game.
They're testing his keyboard.
Just start the game and tell DRG, okay, you're not allowed to use your keyboard for 30 seconds. That's obviously a joke, guys. We're not really going for that.
Yeah, clearly the keyboard works now. I'm actually just looking at it in game here. They tested it. He's putting his earbuds back in. I think we're actually just going to resume here.
I don't know. This is... Can you actually win this game at this point?
No, absolutely not. But Virus is going to try. Absolutely. Gom just gave the verdict exactly as I predicted. Okay. It's his keyboard, so they're just going to resume the game. It's his problem. Not DongRaeGu's, not Gom's equipment, so they are not doing a regame. They're just going to resume from here.
I can understand the decision. You basically have unhappy people being angry at you, and no matter what you decide. Either DRG will be like, I was already ahead, I had him, or the Virus will be, well, what can I do? I have a problem with my equipment or with the computer, and so it seems to be a keyboard problem. Therefore, we right now have the resume, and the Virus will have to fight for his life right now. This is going to be so tough. He immediately starts his production. And DRG, what is DRG doing at this point?
Well, he's kind of hovering outside the base a little bit, continuing to spread his creep. We had 12 Marines being made at a time, +2 for vehicle weapons, 3/3 start immediately, +2 starports and a command center. The minerals went from about 2,000 to 400 very quickly here with all the production he's now able to restart.
The double starport just shows that he has no scouting information. Now he knows about the Ultralisk, but before he just assumed there's going to be a really hard bootload tech, and he was kind of desperate to get away from his minerals and prepare. Here comes the attack into the choke point. I don't like this, but DRG, not at all.
This is a terrible choice, and Virus is going to be able to... He's not even pulling back here. He's actually going to lose so many Ultralisks. Oh, they get away with 12 hit points and 77 respectively. One does go down.
He got kind of lucky. I mean, he did some damage. He was just trying to power through here because he knew he had an advantage. But attacking into the choke point is never a good idea. And with Ultralisk, it's horrible. He did not have enough infestors to go for all these fungals that he needed. And will Virus will he be in a position where he can take this? He's going for 3/3. He starts immediately everything that he has to do in order to get it. He is going for... Look at that! He's going for the fusion core.
Yeah, I don't even know what this means, man. I mean, it means we're going to see battle cruisers, but...
Wow.
Here's the thing, though, guys. Oh, hold that thought. We're going to have another attack, and this one is going to be much better for DongRaeGu.
Oh, yeah.
He's targeting down the Ultralisk, but the Banelings do connect decently well here, and Virus does have to pick up... I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see this Fusion Core transition here, but Fusion Core is actually such a cool thing because it works well against 2 types of units, man. Broodlords and Ultralisks. You can actually use Ultralisks or battle cruisers against these types of units both ways, but one battle cruiser is on the way.
Wow.
I don't know if this is actually something Virus has planned or if it's just kind of his way of being like, I'm desperate here, I'm losing this game, what can I do that might surprise my opponent?
I like his creep kills here. It does a good job, and he can actually just go back.
Yeah, he escapes, dude. That's so sick.
But he has to be... he should have just lowered his command center. If he blocks the ramp and makes good use of his ranged units against the melee units, Ultralisks and Zerglings, this could actually be exactly what he needs here. 2 battle cruisers on the way. We have 5 Corruptors though. +3 will be done in just a few seconds, and DRG still attacking into these choke points.
And Virus is he's narrowing the supply deficit right now. great split here. He's fighting on the high ground and on the low ground. DongRaeGu needs to stop attacking into this. He needs to prepare a different composition. He's slowly starting to do that. He's got the corruptors on the way. Yeah, man, the 3-3 is about to be done.
It is.
The thing is, Virus, he needs to start killing this creep. His battle cruisers, his first 2 are complete now, and they're out. They're ready with their speed upgrade, I say that they're like faster than before with that patch that was not that recent either, but you just don't ever see them anymore, so it's...
We have a lot of battle cruisers now in the May game. The Greater Spire is being built, and this is so interesting. We have 200 supply for both these players.
And DongRaeGu's going to attack it again. A good fungal hits.
A beautiful fungal, but where are they? He needs the battle cruisers right now, and he uses his Marauders to take down a lot of his opponent's Ultilis. DRG is losing units here. The battle cruisers are in position. I think they have been spotted. I don't know exactly if the Ultilis were able to see them, but as he's building additional Corruptors, he might just have been able to spot them.
Yeah, it's hard to say. His Greater Spire is coming out, so either way his Corruptors are going to be useful for him here. I'm not sure if he knows, but he's about to know. Here come the first battle cruisers. He's going to ward this group of units off pretty fast.
He's immediately building additional Corruptors. Up to this point, he did apparently not know what he was facing. Neural Parasite is
this is such a great engagement for DongRaeGu, though. I'm not sure if these battle cruisers even matter anymore because they're going to get taken out by these Corruptors right away.
Yeah, there is no support at the low ground. GG by Virus.
The battle cruisers were an interesting idea. Again, based on like Korean humor, I feel like this is Virus' way of saying, well, I guess that's just all there is to it, man. I lose this game because of my hardware. I'm going to make battle cruisers, and a very unfortunate loss for Virus. DongRaeGu was ahead before the issue, but anyone can come back, especially with a player as good as Virus. It's going to be something that he'll always remember for the rest of his career, and I will too, man. It's always unfortunate when these things do occur, but that's the way the creep crumbles, man. I don't know what else to say.
We've seen it on the first map that the Virus is definitely a player who is able to come back into a game like this, but right now he was not able to pull it off. He tried to get rid of all his minerals as fast as possible, try to make good use of it. He had a couple of very nice engagements, but DRG being on 5 bases, able to saturate them, had the better economy, could lose a few units, could be a little bit wasteful with his Broodlord, with his Ultralisks. And he takes the series, he takes it with 2-0 and therefore advances.
Yep, and Virus, he tried to do what he could. When the game resumed, he had so much money. He built those 2 additional starports. And at first, I was like, oh, he doesn't know if he has Ultralis or not. But I think he already saw the Ultralis. Now that I think about it, I think it was just because that was for the battle cruisers. And he was like, well, I have to spend my gas somehow. What am I going to do? So he tried
didn't expect him to go battle cruisers.
I did not either, but I didn't expect him to win. That's definitely not what I expected. So
it was way too far behind. He missed too much production cycles at this point, and it's just so hard. He got rid from all his resources by just getting all these upgrades, tech structures, but yeah, he just queued up too many units and he lost too much time already.
Yeah, it was a rough situation to be in. I mean, we can say it, we can talk about it all day long, but DongRaeGu is definitely the better player today. We're going to take a 5-minute break, guys, so don't go anywhere. We've got 3 more matches for you guys, so maybe play a little bit Diablo 3 and then tab back in when you hear our voices. See you in a few.
Oh, nice. More zealots.